Let's talk about a guy. We'll call him Leo. 2 years ago, he started investing. He did it properly, read the guides, picked good funds. Today, he owns 3 ETFs, a word fund, a US fund, and a tech fund. Different names, different tickers, different little slices of his portfolio. In his head, that's real diversification. 3 different baskets. He's about to find out that's not quite true. By the end of this video, you know exactly how to check if the same thing is happening in your own portfolio. It takes about 5 minutes, and it might change how you see everything you already own. Now, a quick note before we start. This isn't financial advice. Always do your own research. Here's what diversification is supposed to mean. Different companies, different sectors, different risks. So if one part of your portfolio falls, the rest can hold steady. Leo's word fund covers the whole planet. His US fund covers America. His tech fund covers innovation. 3 different angles. At least that's the idea. So one evening, almost for fun, he decides to actually check. Not the fund names, not the marketing. What's actually inside them. So he starts with the 2 biggest ones, his word fund and his US fund. On paper, this should barely overlap. One is global, the other is just one country. If anything, owning both should make his portfolio more spread out, not less. That's the assumption almost every beginner makes. It's also the assumption Leo is about to test. He pulls up both funds side by side, not the performance chart, not the fees, the actual list of what each fund owns. Top 10 holdings, Fund 1. Top 10 holdings, Fund 2. Same company, same company, same company. He checks again, 10 out of 10. Not similar names, the exact same 10 companies, in the exact same order. The only difference is the size of each slice. His different fund isn't different at all. It's the same bet, just wearing a smaller portion of the same 10 stocks. When he adds up how much of his money overlaps between the 2 funds, 70%. 70% of his diversification was the same holding, twice. Here's the part that actually makes sense once you see it. His US fund tracks the biggest American companies. His word fund also holds those same companies, because America is most of the world's stock market value. So a US fund isn't really separate from a word fund. It's already sitting inside it. And it's not just him. This exact pair is one of the most commonly held combinations by investors across Europe. A handful of giant tech companies now sit at the top of almost every fund that touches US stocks. Own 3 funds that each touch US stocks, and you don't own 3 different bets. You own one bet 3 times. So Leo checks his 3rd fund, the tech one. This one's different, for a real reason. It's not just overlap in stocks. It's a different kind of risk entirely. A tech fund bets on one story, one narrative. If that story stalls, there's nowhere else in the fund to hide. A word fund spreads across many stories at once. A regional fund ties your money to one country's currency and economy specifically. A large cap fund behaves differently to a small cap fund. Small companies swing harder in both directions. None of these are wrong to own, but each one carries its own specific risk. Not the same risk as the others. That's the actual point of diversification. Different risks, not just different names. So here's exactly what Leo did. You can do the same thing tonight. Pull up your fund on just ETF. Find the holdings list. Do the same for your 2nd fund. Put both top 10 lists side by side. If you see the same names showing up again and again, you've found your overlap. No paid tool required, no sign up, just looking at what is actually there. If you want it done faster, there are tools that calculate the exact percentage for you. Worth knowing, some of these tools cover popular funds well, but not every fund, so always sanity check the result against what you see yourself. So that's the number I promised you at the start. Leo thought he had 3 funds. He really had 2 identical bets and 1 truly different one. That's not a reason to panic. It's not a mistake. It's just something almost nobody checks before today. Go pull up your own 2 biggest funds this week. You might be more diversified than Leo. You might be less. Either way, now you'll actually know. If you want another way to check before you invest, not after, there's a free checklist in the description. 7 things worth verifying on any ETF before you put money in. Same idea as this whole video. Check first, don't assume. Money is a tool. If you don't learn to control your finances will control you.